All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about the laws for aesthetics in Kentucky, and believe me, it's a really complex topic. If you're working in the beauty industry in the Commonwealth, whether you're an esthetician, a student, or a business owner, you really need to listen up. This is your survival guide for what is, no joke, a legal minefield.
You look around the country and the demand for advanced skincare is just exploding. Everybody wants services like laser hair removal, microneedling, these amazing new facials. The industry is on fire with new tech and clients expect more than ever.
But hold on a second. If you're in Kentucky, it's a whole different ballgame. While other states are maybe a little more relaxed, Kentucky has drawn a very, very hard line in the sand. They've built this super rigorous legal framework that creates a strict wall between beauty and medicine. And I'm not kidding when I say this is a legal minefield. If you don't know these specific Kentucky laws, you could be putting your license, your career, your entire business on the line. And saying, I didn't know, is not going to help you. Okay, so first things first, let's just bust the single biggest and most common myth in the entire industry. It's a title you've definitely heard, and maybe you've even used it yourself. Let me say this as clearly as I possibly can. There is no such thing as a medical esthetician license in Kentucky. It simply does not exist. It's a marketing term, right? It sounds cool, but legally, it has zero weight. It's just a made-up title. And this really gets to the heart of it. Where you work doesn't change what you're legally allowed to do. Think about it. An esthetician in a fancy hospital has the exact same legal limits, the same scope of practice as an esthetician in a local day spa. Your license is your license, period. It doesn't get superpowers just because you're in a medical building. So what is that limit then? Where is that red line that you absolutely cannot cross? Well, it all comes down to a really clear biological dividing line. This is the big one. It's called the stratum corneum rule. Now, it sounds all scientific, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Think of it like the skin's legal frontier. Kentucky law says that as an esthetician, you can only work on this tippy-top layer of non-living skin cells. The second a procedure is designed to go any deeper into living tissue, boom, you've just crossed the line into the practice of medicine. And what's great about this is how clearly it lays everything out. On the left, you've got your bread and butter, right? The core stuff like facials, waxing, basic exfoliation. But on the right, that's medical territory. Things like microneedling, Botox, deep chemical peels, they're all off limits because they work below that stratum corneum. Okay, now let's talk about what is probably the single biggest and most expensive legal trap for med spas and estheticians in Kentucky. We're talking about lasers. Here's the deal. Because a laser, by its very nature, cuts or changes living tissue, even if it's just zapping a hair follicle, the state of Kentucky defines it as a medical act. And that one little fact changes absolutely everything. So you're probably thinking, okay, but can I use a laser if a doctor is supervising me? And the answer is yes. But the definition of supervision is the whole game. For a lot of other procedures, you need direct supervision. The doctor just has to be somewhere on the same floor. But for lasers, Kentucky demands immediate supervision. And that means the doctor has to be physically present, in the room, watching the whole thing. And look at this. This chart just says it all, doesn't it? It shows just how incredibly strict Kentucky is. In so many other states, a doctor can be off-site, maybe in another office, supervising remotely. Not in Kentucky. They have to be right there with you. So what does this mean in the real world? Well, here's the bottom line. This rule basically kills the standard med spa business model. The entire financial reason to have an esthetician do laser hair removal is leverage, right? But if a doctor has to be in the room for every single 45-minute session, that leverage completely disappears. It's just not profitable. So we've covered procedures. But the traps don't stop there, oh no. There are some major hidden hurdles in how you actually structure your business and what other services you offer. These can trip up even the smartest entrepreneurs. Okay, get ready for this one because it really shocks a lot of people. Microblading. To a client, it's a beauty service for their brows. But to the law in Kentucky, it's tattooing, plain and simple. Because you're putting pigment under the skin, it's regulated by the Department of Health, not the Board of Cosmetology. What that means is you have to jump through a whole different set of hoops. You have to get a separate tattoo artist registration from the health department, do bloodborne pathogen training, the whole shebang. And you have to do it in a room that is a certified tattoo studio, not just out on your main salon floor. It's a completely parallel track. And now for the biggest trap of all. especially if you dream of owning your own place. It's a legal principle called the corporate practice of medicine doctrine. It's been around forever, and it's basically designed to make sure doctors are making medical decisions, not business people. So here's what that boils down to, and it's a tough pill to swallow. An esthetician cannot own a med spa in Kentucky. Because services like Botox and lasers are legally medicine, the business offering them is a medical practice, and you, as a non-physician, can't own it. The common idea of just hiring a medical director to make it all legal? Nope, that's a huge no-no in Kentucky.
Okay, I know, that was a lot of you can't do this and that's illegal. So with all these roadblocks, how in the world do you build a safe, successful, and thriving career in Kentucky? Well, it all comes down to adopting a very specific mindset. And here it is. The key is over-compliance by design. The winning strategy is to know these rules better than anyone else and to build your career and your business around them from day one. You design your entire operation to be so compliant that you're never even close to that red line. That's how you protect yourself.
And here's a little cheat sheet that pulls it all together. You can see right here the things that are strictly prohibited, like Botox and microneedling. You see microblading needs that separate tattoo license. And then there's the big one, lasers, with that immediate in-room supervision rule that pretty much makes it functionally impossible for most estheticians. So let's wrap this up with the 4 golden rules. Number 1, just drop the medical esthetician title. It means nothing. 2, always ask about supervision levels. Don't just take someone's word for it. 3, treat microblading like the separate, regulated tattoo business that it is. And 4, if you want to own a business that offers medical services, your very first call is to a healthcare attorney, not a doctor you want to hire as a director.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question to think about. Kentucky has this gold standard of strict rules, one of the toughest in the country. So, is it the best way to protect patients? Or is it an old-fashioned system that's actually holding back business and innovation in the Commonwealth? It's definitely something worth thinking about.